My name is Katia Lockwood, and today I am presenting the application of Universal Design for Learning to an online learning management system for foundation skills students. Our foundation skills learners are considered low literacy and numeracy learners and English as an additional language learners. Generally, our students are not risk takers when it comes to learning. They like to have support during learning and continual feedback. The session was planned to help our students become comfortable using our LMS by learning about discussion forums. So they're Certificate 1 and 2 students, and the online sessions are completed asynchronously and they're self-paced. I start by coming up with some ideas about structure and the content of the session. So I start by just sort of throwing ideas around. So I would come up with the first part of the lesson, and for this one I decided it would be a video. So it's going to compare a discussion forum to a discussion in class, so they have a point of reference for what we're talking about. And then I'd look over the UDL guidelines and try to find ways to make the video more accessible. So I'd look at the multiple means of representation and just go over that. I do this every time I plan a session, but the more I do it, the more familiar I become with the guidelines. So it takes less and less time as time goes on. So for example, I can use the following checkpoints in my video design. Checkpoint 7.2, optimize relevance, value and authenticity. We're using comparison to build meaning for students so they can see the relevance of discussion forums online. 2.5, illustrate through multiple media, so providing images of discussion forums can help aid comprehension. And checkpoint 1.2 and 1.3, offering alternatives for auditory information and visual information gives students a choice, and if they have a preference of how they want to consume their content. The next part of the session is going to be an ebook. Ebooks are great because they can be so much more accessible than a traditional textbook. The ebook is going to have 3 chapters, a glossary, a diagram, and video tutorial. So checkpoint 2.1, clarifying. So again, we use comparison to build meaning for students so they can see the relevance of discussion forums online. 2.5, illustrating through multiple media again, so providing images of discussion forums to help aid comprehension. And checkpoints 1.2 and 1.3 again, offering alternatives for auditory and visual information. Learners are then going to create their own practice post. Checkpoint 7.2, both discussion forums require students to give their opinion, and this optimizes relevance and authenticity for learners. 3.4, maximization of transfer of knowledge is created through the scaffolded nature of the practice post and then the lessened scaffolded nature of the second post. 8.3, the discussion forum posts encourage and support learning events for interactions. It also encourages the engagement of learners with common interests or hobbies. And then the second forum post is more reflective and indicative of what will be expected in the online environment. Checkpoint 2.2, instructions and explanations are straightforward. This simplified use of syntax should help relieve comprehension barriers for our English as an additional language learners. 6.4, this allows learners to partake in self-reflection of their experience of the Moodle so far, and prompts are provided to help learners reflect and monitor their progress. And checkpoint 9.3, the second discussion forum post allows learners to reflect on their experience with the unit so far. Creating online learning that is accessible to all of your learners takes significant time. Try and get feedback at the planning stage if you can. This will help keep your design clear and focused. Try not to overcomplicate your design. Keep it as easy to follow as possible. If you think about how user-friendly your favorite app is, try and replicate that and have a similar experience for your learners. Thanks for listening to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. There is also a session plan that I've provided that is much more detailed, and there are more checkpoints that I've used in the design. Thank you very much.
This video was produced for the Universal Design for Learning in Tertiary Education e-learning resource. For more information, visit www.disabilityawareness.com.au.